Hey everybody, it's the Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and today in the Typical Manga Review we're going to be going over One Piece chapter 797, Rebecca. And we open up with a nice little, cute little cover page of celebrate a request of members of G5 celebrating smokers' return to duty with a cotton candy party. Got G5 making a little cotton candy poodle with words like, you just translate that as Mr. Fluffy back in action, or Mr. Puffy back in action.
Yeah.
Because like it says like Mocha Mocha Chan.
Yeah, you get to see and you get to see the kids in the background and Tashigi
and the foreground just having a good old time.
Yeah.
I mentioned this to you earlier, but the one disappointment I have about this page is that when I first saw it, I thought we were at the beginning of maybe a smoker cover story.
Yeah. Well,
which would be cool. I mean, that would be a good chance to introduce Vegapunk too, because we were talking about that too. We haven't really seen him yet.
Yeah, but I feel like if Vegapunk's going to be real, it's going to be in the main story.
And I don't know. That could go either way. I mean, we first got introduced to Garp in the cover story.
Yeah, but he wasn't fully revealed.
No, but we knew who he was, like Vice Admiral Garp and such. But yeah, you're right about that. We wouldn't know exactly who he was until later.
Yeah,
but still, we were introduced to him now.
With Vegapunk, we've already seen like the lower half of his the neck down from his body, and we already know who he is. So that wouldn't really serve the same thing as what Garp did. Like, Vegapunk we already know who he is. So now all that's left to be shown is his face, which I think is something for the main story, because he's been such a constantly mentioned figure throughout the narrative that I feel that people who read the main story deserve to get it in the main story. Yeah,
and come to think of it, probably the best point to see it will probably be during the little between arc action we'll get after Dressrosa is full and truly done.
Yeah.
In any case, getting into the story, we open with pretty much right where we left off. Straw Hats and allies are fleeing Kiros' house. Zoro tells Luffy that if he's got to do something now, if it's crucial, just get it done quick and meet in the eastern port. And then Zoro promptly goes south. In the Navy camp, Vice Admiral Bastille is pretty much the one in charge while the higher ups are going after everybody else. He asked about the pirates on the hill, which I assume means Luffy and crew, and they report that they are leaving. They are getting out of the way. He calls the eastern port to where their soldiers are stationed. Apparently, a bunch of the gladiators already took care of them. One of them tries to fake and say like everything's fine, over, like a little Han Solo in Star Wars.
Yeah, I was thinking about the same thing.
First thing, whenever I think of that scene, I think of the Robot Chicken version where they end up talking to Vader. Reactor. Anyway, the Bastille doesn't bide for a moment and starts sending people over to the east. Well, it's worth a shot. But like I said, they've got the other gladiators are blocking them, like Cavendish and all them, and Baby 5 actually.
Yeah.
But like Usopp says that they're a lifesaver, but everyone's like, don't give us that. We're borrowed debt after debt from you. We're stuck in loan payment hell.
Yeah.
Yep. And then and Luffy's gone to, and as we probably already expected, Luffy's gone to the palace.
Yeah. Also, the title kind of swells that too in a way.
Yep.
But yeah, so Luffy says he wanted to meet Rebecca, and it's really interesting that she still calls him Lucy.
Yeah, I think at that point it's just become habit.
Yeah. So now we go to the. Oh, you were saying?
One thing that you were mentioning before that kind of annoys me too is how the maids and such are telling him that she shouldn't speak to the pirate.
Yeah, they should know.
Yeah, it was a bit late for that at this point. Yeah. Anyway, King Rico asks his soldier Tank to bring Viola and Rebecca down so they can go into the town and make the announcement that they're returning to the throne. But Luffy has other plans, because he's going to Rebecca and demanding that Rebecca tell him if she's okay with the situation right now, like about the soldier. Yeah. And she got Kiros' letter explaining about his life and how he's going to pretty much like started the rumor and how he's going to stay away from her. But I don't know if she just misinterpreted it or just thinks it's all her fault, like a child whenever her father's mad at her kind of thing. Because she's flashing back to the times like she was angry at the soldier, like, you're not my father, or you're just a one-legged toy. Yeah.
And she feels sorry for that. So she feels bad about that. She wants to like reconcile with that. But the interesting thing is that the soldiers are also arguing about whether they should let him in. But it's kind of like there's one guy's like, a pirate's still a pirate, but he's a pirate. The pirate is the one is the man who saved his country. But he's like, but a pirate's still a pirate. And I'm just like, dude, why do you think he saved this country? You more? Oh my gosh! Like, well, I get that your job is to protect her, but I feel like.
To be fair, Luffy probably wouldn't care either way. I mean, he does not look at himself as a hero. He wants to eat all the meat.
What I'm saying is, but he did it for the right thing, which is that he was he said like, oh, what you did to this country was terrible. So what he did was the right thing. He doesn't call himself a hero, but he has the hero mentality. Like his goals were hero. And in this case, so it's annoying to see, like, it's just annoying that they're like, pirates are still pirates. You see yourself that pirates basically saved this country, and you've seen what a quote unquote king does. So I just don't like this. I don't like the characterization of these people.
No, that's kind of getting to annoy me too here. But in any case, Rebecca is very much not okay with the situation right now. So she's going to go with Luffy. But before she does, has a request of Viola. And then they bust out of the castle together, and just like you were saying, everyone's reporting that Luffy is kidnapping Rebecca.
Yeah, and everyone's starting to like. It wasn't even like oh, what's no. There's no way I can believe it. No, they're literally changing in like 5 seconds. Yeah. This is ridiculous. Like even Gat is like, he says, I still love you, but at the same time it's just like, at least he's like, how impossible? How is this happening?
Yeah. Maybe he just has enough doubt because he met Luffy firsthand. But in any case, as Luffy tries to flee with Rebecca, the Navy soldiers try to shoot him down, but then they all start just dropping down. And Bastille immediately wonders if it's like Supreme King Haki, but they're still conscious. They haven't just dropped dead or anything. They just fell. And actually, there's a theory here that that's the little people's doing, like Mancheri's doing.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, she's been getting all those donations from everybody.
Yeah.
Like she rigged it so that they would drop at a certain point, probably.
True. Wow. Oh, what a bitch.
Well, I hope that's what happened, but still.
I mean, I'll just be like that cheeky little.
It makes me wonder what'll happen with Sengoku later.
Oh well.
Because remember, he gave her his donation too.
Wait, I thought if he gave the donation, it's not the same thing as receiving it, like.
Right, but that's the thing. Like, I mean, I think that's what people are assuming because she took from them. They didn't get anything back yet. That's why they're kind of dropping. She weakened them.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Okay.
In case.
But there's isn't also a time limit for the people she does heal.
Only if it's like the really super rapid area of effect one that she did during the birdcage.
Okay.
She can heal people more permanently in other ways.
Okay.
Because that was like a last-ditch effort to keep people alive for as long as possible.
Okay, so everyone's still chasing after Luffy, and they're calling him. Was it who's calling Lucy again? It was
Rebecca calls him Lucy all the time.
Yeah. Get that Lucy. Oh, it was the people. My gosh, these people are starting to piss me off. They did actually the first time I read this. I'm just like, they have such a mob mentality. That's the thing.
Yeah. And at one point, Luffy tells Rebecca they have to split up because he'll be a decoy while she gets to Kiros on her own. But he also warns her that since these people are trying to protect her, they'll take her back to the palace if they catch her.
Even though she says, I'm okay. It's just, I don't know.
Like I said, they're trying to be protective of her, so I don't know.
Yeah, but then they're like, capture Lucy, save Rebecca, you know.
To their credit, it's a far cry from how they were treating Rebecca originally.
But it's just at the same time it actually doesn't. If you think about it, it's not really that different because now that she has the status of the leader, they automatically switch to her side. Whereas Luffy still has the status of a pirate.
Yep.
So it doesn't actually change it. In fact, because remember, Rebecca was never, even if King Riku did do all those things, Rebecca herself was never responsible. So it doesn't change the fact that they were doing something wrong, even if they had been right in the first place.
Something just occurred to me here. It just realized, like, all of Kira's worries about her coming from, like, his bloodline and all that, I think that maybe those fears aren't as unfounded as we thought they were, at least among the Rosans.
Yeah.
But anyway,
maybe because, I bet that if they found out that she's his daughter, they'd be like, oh my gosh, she's the daughter of a villain, let's kill her, even though she's these people have such one-dimensional ways of thinking. It looked like it says, I guess once a pirate, always a pirate. We thought you were a hero. I ain't trusting the pirates no more. You were just told. You're just seeing him run, like, you don't know the story. Why are you judging? Didn't you learn with the Riku thing that it was more to be told than just seeing, like, him attack it? He was being mind-controlled. Now, maybe they can, why aren't they, like, at least questioning, like, oh, maybe it's something similar, or something's wrong. They're just like, they're just giving into their emotions and their first the first thought that comes in their heads, and I'm really pissed off because it removes all that development, all that emotion that I had when I was cheering for them when they were trying to break free the cage, and now they're just taking that away from me, like literally a chapter.
I'm really hoping Riku take some time to clear things up with people later. it may not stop us from being pissed off at them, but at least they'll know what's going on.
Well, actually, I think there's a reason why he won't do that, and I'll explain that. I'll explain later.
Okay, yeah, let's finish our description here. First, like I said, we come to Kiros's house. He's actually packing up, getting ready to leave, presumably Dressrosa itself for good. But that's when he sees Rebecca, and she's angry at him at Kiros for lying to him. He thinks she means the letter, which he assures her was true, but that's not what she means. She means the fact that he's denying that she's even her father.
Yeah.
She proudly declares she's the daughter of Kiros.
Yeah, and then she's like, "Let's live together," you know. And then there's an entry revealed that Rebecca will not be returning to the palace, like Anastasia. It referenced the story.
Yeah. And King Rico's pretty much aware of that too. Like he's like, "Yeah, I pretty much figured."
Yeah, it's exactly what Scarlet did. She like left the throne, and then the favor that Rebecca asked was for Viola to take the throne after Riku.
Which Viola comments like the second time in her life she's been asked that question.
Yeah, I guess the apple doesn't fall from the tree.
Yeah, at least Rico's laughing about it though.
Well, Riku was always that weird. He was that type of person. But yeah, so then we go back to the ruins of the forest town Kankarta, it's just the eastern port, and then they're trying to find Luffy, and then they realize that Fujitora is just like right there, while Luffy's trying to chase back to the meeting point. Yeah,
and meanwhile both Luffy and Law are gone too. Like Law's gone off somewhere too.
Yeah, maybe he has his crew call. He called up his crew.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean it's been a few days. They could have just
he said his crew was still in Zou though, so I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, I thought that's what I'm saying. Like maybe he called them, and that in the few days that they were waiting is what it took for them to get here.
Yeah, possibly. That could be their ship out of there, but
or at least send like a scout. You know, one of the scout ships.
Yeah, yeah, and that's pretty much where the chapter ends. Like Fujitora comes down, Luffy's still running through to reach him. Bartolomeo's in utter shock. He has a good scared face right there.
It's interesting that he's actually that afraid of Fujitora, even though he's been such a cocky bastard with everyone else.
Well,
other than Straw Hats.
Admirals you don't fuck around with.
I know, but even his shields are like, you know, unstoppable.
Well, how good are shields against gravity?
Depends. Can you make the shield go up? I mean, can you make a shield over your head? Then
I think he can. He can make them in the stairs and things. So I presume.
Well, I mean, like if he turns into like if he hides in like a box, then I don't think any meteor could break the shields. I mean, break the barriers. So.
But he can only protect himself. He can't really do anything for anyone else.
No, but
other than it's purely defensive.
Sorry.
And it's purely defensive.
It is defensive. Yeah. But I will say that. Well, actually, can he also reflect attacks too? Mm-hmm. So maybe that's one thing.
I don't think he can reflect attacks. I know he can block them. I don't think he can actually reflect anything though.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was thinking of the King Punch. Did you reflect that, or did you just dodge that completely? Or not dodge?
No, he didn't. He blocked it.
Yeah, he blocked. Okay.
That's
it was just that everyone else got caught in the blast. Okay. Yeah. So, but yeah, he would protect the Straw Hats, but he doesn't give a shit about anyone else. So, it's interesting though. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's why he's afraid, that he can't protect the Straw Hats, not because he can't protect himself. It's always been about the Straw Hats. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I do want to see Bartolomeo fight Fujitora.
What I want to, I've had a thought on this. Like, what I kind of wonder is, if and when do we see Bartolomeo's crew? I wonder if it's going to be an entire crew of Straw Hat fans. Like cosplayers and all that stuff.
Yeah, that would be weird. I mean, look, obviously this is the type of guy who wants the best for his crew. So they'd obviously have to be pretty strong. But yeah.
I mean, I know he's protective of him, and actually, I think we were talking the other week about Bellamy, like maybe joining up with Law. I want to see him join with Bartolomeo.
Okay.
You can imagine him being around a bunch of Luffy fanboys.
All right, so now time to talk about chapter.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I think I wasn't a big fan of this chapter because of, as I said before, the Dressrosa mob mentality of they easily turned on the Straw Hats, even though they saw in their right in front of their faces the Straw Hats helping everyone out, and the Straw Hats weren't just helping; they were making speeches, they were pushing the dress cage. Every member of the Straw Hats was doing something that was helping them. So now there's like, oh, they're pirates. Like, how did this not change your prejudice of pirates? I get it, a lot of pirates are bad, but shouldn't this be at least like, oh well, I guess not all pirates are like that, rather than just be like, oh, all pirates are the same.
They are quite simply ungrateful bastards.
They literally are, and it makes me wonder. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, now that I think about it, maybe Doflamingo should have just been, maybe he should have just kept ruling this country. I mean, I feel like they deserve each other at this point.
I don't know if Doflamingo's not too heavy, but yeah, at the same time, yeah, you're right about that. They are just like, seriously.
He is heavy, but it's like at this point, I don't feel any empathy for them. Like, I know, generally speaking, what he did was terrible. It's just like now, I'm just like, you guys can just go die. And also the fact that I said that King Ruku wouldn't tell them. The reason why he wouldn't tell them was because then he would have tell them where Rebecca went.
Well,
and remember,
not even he knows that.
well, I'm just saying, like, why, like, Rebecca, the fact that Rebecca left, like, just like Scarlet did. Like, he didn't tell anyone about Scarlet, so I wasn't thinking that he would tell anyone about Rebecca.
Yeah, but I think it's less important now to keep it a secret than it was then.
Yeah, because she's leaving. Yeah. But then also looks bad if the princess doesn't want to be the queen too, whatever. Like, I don't want to be queen of Dressrosa, and it just looks bad from a PR standpoint.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think with this chapter, it's proven to be a very wise decision.
Yeah. Also I'd like to note that, so Rebecca left the palace, but I was thinking to myself, I guess not being queen and having Kyros by her side is not an option.
Apparently not, or at least they don't seem to think it is.
Maybe she doesn't want that life. Okay, I mean that's fine with her. I just felt like they weren't. I thought that she was gonna bring Kyros to the palace. I didn't think that she was gonna leave with Kyros.
I think this pretty much puts the final nail in the coffin for my theory that Kyros would become king.
Yo, that thing died long ago.
Well, that's why I say final nail in the coffin. It was already dying. This is like the last little bit there for it.
Yeah, and also, the thing is, though, Kyros. I feel like Kyros deserved some of the glory that he would have gotten had he returned to the palace. Like, I feel like if he turned out that he was the father of Rebecca, that they would accept him. Like, but you know what? With the mentality that these guys have,
I don't think
be like, oh,
that's what I was saying. Like, maybe Kyros' fears weren't as unfounded as we thought they were.
Yeah, I know you said that. I was just referring back to that. I don't like Dressrosa people anymore.
I'm less fond of them myself. Yeah, I don't know. I'll give it to to leave the island to see what happens, but yeah. I mean, at the very least, when these sort of things happened before, there's at least some justification. Like, Alabastans wouldn't have even known Destroyers did anything.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Like, if they went through all this and still haven't changed, then they don't have any hope for changing it later. Like, there's no way they would go something as bad as this again. Right. So if they didn't learn the lesson through what happened with Doflamingo, they're not gonna ever learn the lesson, and that's what pisses me off. It's a character. It's not even a character. It's a mass regression of a population.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's why I'm hoping King Riku does something in the next chapter or two to clear that up, or at least do something to change everything. But I don't know.
But I also feel like there's been a trend of Luffy often, like, the pirates always leaving the islands, like, not really being fully appreciated, and that's okay with them. I feel like that's been a theme, like, how they leave island like Alabasta.
Way back in Buggy, or the town where they met Kobe, like, pirates who leave a town hated is what something like Luffy, one of them says.
Like they would leave it like with the royal family or someone high up or someone, or at least someone in the village, like in the area, in the island, like knowing of their heroism. But other than that, the entire population hates the shit out of them, and that's like the theme. Like, oh, we're good people, but we're still pirates, and we have to live the life as pirates. And that's been like, and so I feel like what he's doing is trying to fit that theme, but I just don't like. I just think that it's too late for that. I think what Luffy did was just so. I felt like, if anything, this is the changing moment where now we actually have an island that actually does appreciate
right, and then in this case the writing it screws it up.
Yeah. There's actually, what about the Arlen guys? Do they appreciate the pirates?
Oh, the Nami's village?
Yeah.
Yes, they that was unanimous in that case, pretty much.
Okay. But I feel like that's because Nami was one of them.
Yeah, same with the Baratie and Sanji. Yeah, the town Buggy took over was like that because only the mayor and the dog knew about them. Usopp's village, only Usopp and Kaya and the kids. Yeah. Baratie and Arlong. They didn't really do much in Roguetown to really care one way or the other.
Yeah, and also it feels like and the thing is
Whiskey Pig, they annihilated everybody.
Yeah. Skypiea actually Skypiea they actually didn't they help the people?
Yeah, and Drum Kingdom too with Chopper, where Chopper was. And in Skypiea, like, they thought they were leaving hated, but they were still being revered.
Okay, so like it's always one or the other. Like, they think they're being hated, but they're okay.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes. Like I say, I know you probably don't remember reading that part or watching that part. Basically, what happened was,
I never did watch that part.
Yeah, like the Skypieans were going to give them like a big old pillar of gold to take back with them for saving them, but it was all wrapped up in cloth, so they thought it was like some kind of weapon to shoot them with. So they start fleeing. Funny part is, Robin is there with the Skypieans. She knows what's in there. She sees them running, and the other guys are asking them, like, do they just not want the gold? She just laughs and says, nope, I guess not, and runs with them. Of course, remember, this is like also in Robin's early days with the crew, so I don't know if that makes a difference, but still.
Yeah. I was about to mention something else. Let's see, it was Alabasta, or it was Oh, I remember. What was the one with Sanji again? The place that he was at?
Baratier.
Yeah, Baratier.
That
The
place
thing
was
about them
fine
is that they were
because
all not
yeah,
all, but
they're
the
almost
cap-
already
the
pirates anyway. Yeah.
Well, I don't say all of them, but the head chef was a pirate, so it's like, oh well, there's no way he's gonna judge, obviously.
Yeah. Well, if they weren't pirates, they were roughnecks and crooks anyway.
Yeah, and I think the people who go to the restaurant know that, so
Yeah.
it's kind of like, it's not that big a deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just for this, I just feel like Dressrosa should have been one of those people who outright should have defended the Straw Hats rather than chase. That's what I think. I was actually expecting them to defend the Straw Hats against the Marines, because then you have a numbers game, you know.
Yeah.
But then it's just like it goes into now they're both chasing after them. It's like, oh my gosh, what do they have to do to earn these people's trust, you know?
Yeah. Again, if Riku doesn't do something to clear this up or at least change the tide, I'm going to be very annoyed.
Yeah, if it doesn't, I'm gonna have to leave. Well, even then, the fact that the tide still changes so quickly is still a bad thing, I think.
At the very least, if Riku cleared things up, at least it would alleviate my problems with it a little bit. But yeah, you're right. They're flip flopping
only
just
a little
too
bit.
much.
Yeah, it's just too much. It's like the fact that like Riku telling them what's up doesn't show them learning their lesson. Like they should at least be troubled by it. Like Gats was. Like that's when I know that even if they don't know what the full story going on, that part of them is telling them, no, I saw, what I learned is making me change who I am.
Right.
So Riku telling them is actually a cop out. It covers up their mistake.
Yeah, I mean Gats had the proper response in that case.
Yeah,
like he's
so
like
that's what I'm
shocked.
saying.
Was like, I still love you, man. You're awesome.
Yeah, exactly. and they actually there's a comment that said, I mean, there's a quote that one of the guys is like, shut up, stop talking out of your ass, Gats. So they're turning on Gats for saying that.
I think in that case, in the Viz version, it's like, what are you talking about? What are you going on about?
Yeah, but regardless, I gotta have that one strike. That has to be a strike against Oda. I can't.
It is in this case.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, in some ways, it's been definitely one of the weaker arcs overall because of things like that. There's been a few things that other complaints, but they aren't really relevant to this chapter, so I'm not going to worry about them here.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's about it for I have what to say about this.
Yep. Yeah, because I don't really have much to add on this myself that we haven't already covered on here. Like I said, I am annoyed about my theory is if it hadn't already been, it was well and truly dead now. But what are you going to do? All right, that's been our review of One Piece 797, Rebecca. Go ahead and take us away.
Bye.